Okay, let's get started.
Ghosts are real. That much I know.
Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. If this is the first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single week. So you can see from the title, today's video is going to be the best and worst horror movies of 2023 so far. I did this same video back in December and also on June of last year, and I thought that would be cool to do it again. Meaning that in this video, I will be giving you guys my top 10 horror movies of this year so far, and also giving my list of the ones that I believe are the worst ones so far. Now this list is based on my rankings and my rankings only, but I will be putting in the side on the screen a comparative of my rating versus Rotten Tomatoes and also IMDb, but this is based only on my ratings. You can fact check this if you want. You can rewatch my videos. You can search on my Letterboxd profile or on my spoiler-free reviews on my website. So you guys know I am not lying. Of course, this list is not final. It can change all the way from here to December. Most likely, I will end up rewatching some of these films and my opinion can change. But for now, these are, in my opinion, the top 10 horror movies of 2023 so far. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, this list was a little bit easier to do than last year because I feel that until now, we're not having that same amount of good horror films. Of course, I haven't seen all the horror films that had come out already on this year. I will be doing that on December, so that's why this list most likely will change. Some films may be gone by the time that December comes, but on a general aspect, I feel that 2023 hasn't been as good as 2022 because I do remember when I did my list last year, I had such a hard time, but this one, it was way easier. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with number 10. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 and is Skinamarink. This one is available on Shudder. This one is a hit or a miss. This is an experimental horror film. It's way longer than it's supposed to be, in my opinion. It can be boring for some, it can be scary for others. This, like I said, is a hit or a miss because it's a very weird and it's also experimental film. Essentially, the film is going to be a lot of weird shots. You can be for seconds seeing someone, then for minutes seeing a corner. It's very dark. I truly believe that the best experience and the best way to watch this film is on a dark room in your house. It gives to the experience because I saw it both with my lights on the first time that I saw it, and then I saw it with my lights off. I wanted to test, and it definitely made the difference. This film went viral on the internet, specifically on TikTok, because it got leaked online. So that's why it had a lot of attention before it came out. But once it came out on, I think it was January, February, I don't even remember, but it was at the beginning of the year, and now that it's available on Shudder, of course, the opinions change it a little bit, but for many, this is one of the best horror movies of 2023, and so far, for me, at least deserves to be on the list. Coming on the number 9 with 3.5 out of 5, Sick. This one has to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. It set right at the beginning when people was really scared of the virus and everyone was wearing masks. We were doing the distancing, hand sanitizer, and going to the grocery store and then wiping things with Clorox wipes, that type of situation. So it feels very familiar, but it also turns into a slasher. I liked this film, but I didn't love it. This one is available on Peacock. Every single one of these films, I did my reviews. I will be linking them all down below in case that you're interested in my full opinion on them. But what I can say is that I didn't hate this one, but definitely I didn't loved it as much as everyone else, but I still believe that it's good. It was well made. It was just some characters that I hated in my life, but for the rest, I think that the film is worth watching. So if you have the chance, go and do it. Next, on the number 8, we have also with 3.5 out of 5, Infinity Pool. This is another one that is a hit or a miss. The critics loved it and the public hated it. My boyfriend hated this film so bad. We went to the theater. He knew what he was getting himself into because I told him, this is what the film is about. It's very weird. But of course, that didn't make any difference because he still hated the film. It was a weird experience, but I didn't hate it. I actually liked it, but I can do admit that the film is a little bit weird. It is, and that Mia Goth character can turn very annoying. And also there's something with her character towards the end that when it happened, it took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting that to happen. If you saw the film, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go and watch it, or if maybe you're not interested, you can watch my review. But I do still think that is good. It's not the best one, but it wasn't that bad either. Like I said, I didn't have that many options with my list. But moving on, we have on the number 7, Clock with 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one. Is more of a thriller rather than horror. I really enjoyed this one. This is a Hulu original, and I truly enjoyed this one. I think that they did a pretty good job, and it's a must watch. I think that this one deserves the chance and the watch if you haven't done it already. I feel that not everyone knew about this film because it came from Hulu, and this is a type of streaming service that sometimes people kind of forgets. I feel when it comes to streaming services, people will always go to Netflix and now maybe Prime or sometimes Max. But sometimes I feel that people forget that they also do original films, unless it's not like Hellraiser last year, that is a strong title and a strong franchise. Of course, it's going to bring attention, and also Prey, that was part of the Predator franchise. I feel that people will not be aware that they are doing more films. So if you have the streaming service, you should watch it because it was a very enjoyable one. On the number 6, I know that someone will come in the comments saying, this is not horror. But sorry, I do believe that this film is horror, and it is the comedy horror Cocaine Bear. This one I gave it a 4 out of 5. If you have been in my channel for a while, you know I have said this a few times. Not the biggest fan of comedy horror. If it's done right, I can enjoy it, and this was the case. I wasn't excited to see this film at first, but my boyfriend loves comedy and that type of film, so it was like, you know what, let's go and watch it. I ended up loving it. The whole ambulance sequence, I almost died of laughing so hard. If you haven't watched it, this one is a bear that does cocaine by accident. You can't expect for me that cinema type of film, because it's not. It's just pure ridiculousness, and it's amazing. It's a very enjoyable one. I had such a good time, and for me it has horror elements. It definitely does. So for me this one counts as horror. But we have on the number 5, Renfield. I gave this one also a 4 out of 5. I was very excited and pleased to see Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Also we had Nicholas Hoult as Renfield. This one is also comedy horror, and I had such a blast. The film was just what I was expecting, and I think that is a very good one. I know that this one many people didn't like it, but I did. I had such a good time. It was fun, entertaining, straight to the point. It was quite short, but it was perfect. The CGI is not maybe the best one. For the rest, I think that is a very good one. So if you like Nicolas Cage in horror, this one is a recommendation. Coming on the number 4, we have the Mexican horror film Huesera, the Boned Woman. I was very impressed with this film. I loved this film so much. I got this one on an early screener thanks to Shudder. It's very, very good. I have read some people saying that this film is not as good as the majority of the critics have said, but in this case I'm going with the critic side. I believe that this film is so good. It's full of metaphors, and the cinematography, it's very impressive. The ending, it's one of those sequences that you're in like, whoa. I think that the film is very, very good. I really like it, how they also brought the Mexican culture and folk into it. I think that they did a fantastic job. So this one, if you have the chance, watch it. It's very, very good. And as a Spanish speaker, I love it even more, because something that I hate is when they do these productions and they neutralize the accents and they feel almost like novelas or La Rosa de Guadalupe, for that type of production. But here in this case, they use the actual accents, the words, everything. It was something that happens also with a lot of Puerto Rican productions. They try to neutralize the way that we speak, and it feels so unnatural. And in this case, they did the total opposite, that is using the words and the accents and everything as they do it. And I think that it was very, very good. And at least for me, since I'm a Spanish speaker, it added to the experience in a very positive way. Now jumping on the top 3, we have Megan. This is the first horror film that I review and saw of this year. So good. I had such a good time. My expectations, they were like, maybe this will be good, maybe not, but still I want to watch it, and I had such a good time. I think that they did a pretty good job. Megan is scary as hell. I love it. Also, it's having a sequel coming on 2025. I don't know what the hell they will be doing with that, because in my opinion this didn't need a sequel, the majority of the films. I think that they did a pretty good job, and I had such a good time. At least the ones that I have seen that are on this list, as you can see, I had such a good time. So that's something positive. But if you haven't watched this one, go into it. Seriously, this is a very good one. It may be a little bit ridiculous, but it's worth it. Now, on my top 2, I think that maybe some people will get mad at me. But I'm being completely honest, this is the rating that I gave when I saw them. Like I said, this order and the ratings may change from December. So giving a disclaimer, in my second place, I have Evil Dead Rise. I have seen many people saying that this one is the best one of the year. I do agree. I think that is a very good one. But if I'm going by my real ratings, this is not my number 1. I want to be genuine. I want to be transparent here. I will not be sitting down here lying to you saying that this one is the number 1 for me. When you check my ratings, then you will realize that there's a film that comes first. But Evil Dead Rise is one of the best ones of the year. I had such a good time watching it. It's scary. It has all the good things from the franchise, but adding new stuff. It works as a standalone. If you haven't seen any Evil Dead before this, you're going to miss all the Easter eggs and the reference, but still is a very good experience. They did a fantastic job with bringing this iconic franchise. I actually did the ranking of this franchise on this channel a few weeks ago. It was pretty recent, but this one is a must watch. If you haven't watched it already, run and do it. This one is now available on Max. I can do agree that can be the best one of the year, but since I am going by my ratings, this is not my number 1. Now, before I go into my number 1, I want to bring some of the ones I believe that are the worst ones of this year, to name a few. So far, I have my letterbox right here. We have There's Something Wrong with the Children. I disliked this film a lot, especially because of the children. I think that they were annoying as hell, and they didn't work for me. Honestly, it wasn't it. Next, we have The Lair. This one actually came out on 2022, but I saw it this year, and it was released on Shudder this year. Not so good. If you want to skip it, do it. It's not good. We also have Unwelcome. I saw this one last week. I was expecting way more from this one, but it wasn't as good. We also have Children of the Corn. That will be the second one on the worst ones. This one was made and everything on 2020, so appears as 2020, but it was released on this year. It's actually coming to Shudder. I think that was this week. Actually, I think that it was, if it wasn't last week, I think that is this one, but it's now available on Shudder. I really tried to like this one, but it wasn't it, and it's sad because Children of the Corn, there's some reason that it never works on the big screen. We can all agree that Children of the Corn is probably one of the worst horror franchise. The first one compared to this one looks like a masterpiece, and if you have seen the original, you know that that one is not that good. But the one that takes the lead, the worst horror movie of 2023 so far, and I do believe that this one is going to stay, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I do get that the film was on a low budget. It was something that they did very quickly. It was just like 10 days of filming. You get all of that. But we cannot take away the fact that it's not good. But it also made a lot of profit. And because of that, they're making a sequel. So I am hoping that they're going to improve. And maybe they're going to deliver a better film, because they have potential. I do believe that the story had potential, but they needed to work some stuff. So I'm hoping that now that they're going to have a bigger budget, I do expect something better. But so far, this one is the worst. I didn't went to movie theaters to watch this. I didn't brought myself to do it. I eventually saw it on video on demand, and it was definitely an experience, but it wasn't a good one. But like I said, I do hope that they are going to be doing some improvements. No hate to the team that was behind this film. It is maybe the worst right now, but guys, I'm here talking if someone from them is going to be watching this video. But if they ever do, you had potential, you just need to work some stuff. It may be the worst right now, but maybe next year that film will be one of the best ones. It can happen like Terrifier 2. The first one, it was heavily criticized, but the second one was praised, and we saw this how successful it was, so maybe that will happen again. And to end the list, which in my opinion is the best one of the year so far, with a 4.5 out of 5, Scream 6. Like I said, I did these ratings back when I saw the film, but I do believe that Evil Dead Rise is a little bit better, but I'm gonna stay with Scream 6 being my number one. I loved the sequel. I think that they did a pretty good job. The Ghostface reveal, so good. Soundtrack, the opening scene, I think it is one of the best ones after the original. In my opinion, is the best sequel so far. Scream, in a general aspect, is a very good franchise, but I did a ranking. I have the updated ranking on my Letterboxd profile, and in my opinion, Scream 6 is the one that comes after Scream from 1986. I think that it was a very strong sequel. Only time will tell when Scream 7, if they ever doing it, when will it come. I think that they should wait a few years, just like that they can do things better, because at this moment, the way that the story ended, they can easily start a new story without the characters that we saw on Scream 5 and 6. I don't think that Sidney Prescott will be coming back anytime soon, so only time will tell what they're going to be doing. But whatever they do, I'm gonna be watching it, that's for sure, even if it's bad. I'm weak on that part, so I will be still watching it. But this has been my top 10 of horror films, and also the top 5 of the worst ones so far. Like I said, most likely this is going to change from now to December, so don't freak out on the comments, because like I said, I have some films to watch and there's a lot coming up, so of course there's going to be some changes into this list. But for the rest, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below which ones are, in your opinion, the best ones of this year so far, or the worst ones. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.
It's real. That much I know.